Hey girls, this is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it's about my frustrations of so many people coming to me wanting their dream body but just simply not doing the right things in order to achieve it and wondering why they're going round in circles. So I want to bring you through my guidance in terms of training and nutrition and help you put your energy in better places so that you can get the body shape that you want and that you're currently working for, but just doing it the wrong ways. So listen up. I get so many people coming to me on a daily basis saying that they are trying everything, but they're just not changing shape, or they're changing the opposite way to which they want to do. So for anybody who knows me and follows me currently, you'll know that I'm a big fan of resistance training, and I'm also a nutritionist. And that's my job as an online coach, to give you the tools and the guidance to get the body that you are working for. So there's so many myths out there where female believes that resistance training or lifting weights is going to make you bulky. There's also a lot of people out there who simply just don't know what they're doing and have a fear over going into the gym. So I want to help you get out of that situation and discover your true potential once you start lifting weights, and accompanying this with proper nutrition where you're not starving yourself, you're not restricting yourself, or eliminating full food groups from your plan. So once it comes to lifting weights, my approach is that I want you to focus on building lean muscle mass, because this is your most metabolically active tissue. And with the more lean muscle mass you have, the more calories you're going to be expending on a daily basis. So if you want to focus on pulling your body in the right positions, giving yourself a more toned, leaner, healthier look, then hypertrophy training is going to be for you. I would also advocate that you spend more time doing hypertrophy training or resistance training as opposed to basic cardio and conditioning classes or running the roads. So once it comes to hypertrophy training, we're talking about lifting weights that you cannot achieve any more than 12 reps for. So for everybody, this is going to be different weights for every exercise, but typically hypertrophy reps mean that you're working anywhere between 8 and 12 reps. Once you come lower than that, you're working for strength. And once you go any higher than that 12, 15 reps, you're working for endurance. So this is where most of your classes come into play, where you are working for hundreds of reps with really light weight. Yes, you're getting a burn, but you're not really encouraging any shape change because you're not asking enough questions of the muscles. So if you want to change your shape, you need to be lifting weights for in around that 8 to 12 rep range for all your exercises. There's a lot of females out there who are actually doing the right steps in order to make shape change. They have a gym membership, they're going to the gym repeatedly throughout the week, but at the end of the week, at the end of the month, they're still not really seeing any shape change. So if this is you, I urge you to change your approach, potentially go and get a coach if you have limited experience or you have a fear over going into the gym, but invest in a coach that will give you the results that you are currently investing time and energy into. Now, whenever you're looking for a coach, not all coaches are the same. So it's very easy now to go and get your PT certification within a couple of weeks, couple of months, and you're out in the gym floor and you're training people with very little experience and very little knowledge as to how our female bodies work as well. So I urge you to choose wisely whenever it comes to picking a coach. And the biggest takeaway that I had from my experience on the gym floor, that if your coach is wasting time with you, standing chatting to you on the treadmill, then you're not really getting enough value from that session. Most of my clients, whenever I was on the site with gym clients, was strength training. People can do their cardio around the training session, but whenever somebody is with me in person, I focus solely on getting them stronger, getting them leaner, getting them more confident in their own body by lifting weights. Okay, so that's what your session should focus in around. So once it comes to individual programming, these are all going to be highly dependent on your skill level, your goals, your time frame, etc. So not all programs are going to be the same, But every time you go to the gym, you should be aiming to work a little bit harder than you did last week. So in order to do that, you need to know what you done last week so that you can progress this week, either through reps, through bands, through weights, through time under tension, whatever it may be. But every week and every time you go into the gym, you need to know that you're getting a little bit stronger. Now, in relation to your menstrual cycle and the female functioning of their bodies, there will be weeks where you are just feeling a wee bit more sluggish. You can't hit any higher reps, higher weight sets, because your body is just working a little bit below par. So it's important to bear that in mind and not being too hard on yourself as well. But in a general ethos, you should be focusing on increasing your energy output on a weekly basis. So whether that be increasing your reps, increasing your weight, moving a little bit slower, etc. But every week you're aiming to go a wee bit harder and more challenging so that you're encouraging better shape change and that you can see results. If you go into the gym and you're unaware of what weight you're lifting, you're unaware of your positioning, unaware of how many reps you're doing and what you done last week, then you're simply not progressing. You're just going to the gym and expending calories. So again, this is a pointless use of your time, and I urge you to do something a wee bit differently so that you can shape change better. Let's move on to nutrition. So whenever it comes to nutrition, my approach is very flexible. You need to do something that suits you and that you can see yourself doing for a long time. So I'm not a huge fan of restriction diets or cutting out full food groups, because this is not a sustainable or enjoyable way of getting you closer to your goals. So my approach is flexible nutrition. So this gives you the ability to go out and have social occasions, have a wee bit of treats throughout the week if you desire, as long as you are following on the basic principles of being in around your calorie target and also hitting your protein intake on a daily basis. Once you do this and you do it repeatedly, then you can have great success without restrictions, without fad diets, without hindering your progress because you are over restricting and stressing yourself out over food groups and food selections. Now, depending on your goal, depending on where you are at the start of your journey, everybody's calories are going to be very different anyway. So each female has a different set of calorie allowance depending on their activity level, their job, their goals, and their body weight as well. So no one should be on the same amount of calories, because everybody is different, and that's what's special about us. So these 1200 calorie diets that are generically throughout to most people simply just won't work. So it's the plan that is a failure, it's not you, okay? So once it comes down to you and your goal, if you are looking to build muscle mass, you could potentially need to be in a calorie surplus, which means eating a little more calories than your BMR. If fat loss is your goal, then you need to be in a calorie deficit, which means that you need to be eating slightly less than your BMR, but trying to hit as close to that calorie deficit as possible, or your BMR level as possible, so that you have lots of room to work with in terms of increasing the deficit, but staying normal, staying human, and allowing yourself to have a social life as well. Now, the nice thing about calorie deficit are, if you are a newbie to nutrition, to training, you can get a lot of results pretty quick just by doing the basics, without a drastic calorie deficit, by just simply increasing your energy output through walking and through the gym, and being a lot more mindful over your food intake. Again, depending on your goals, if you want to build lean muscle mass, to have that more toned, athletic, leaner, healthier looking body shape, then you want to be dieting as close to your BMR as possible, so that you don't feel low whenever you go to train, you don't feel restricted, moody, grumpy, you maintain your period and your physical female physiology, and you can get results because your training is at a higher level, because you're not depleting your energy stores from food. So I need you to think about not restricting yourself. This starvation plan that most people go on to whenever they're looking to drop body fat is the fast track to feeling, because you will binge, you will overeat at the weekend, and bear in mind that your Friday, Saturday, Sunday is 40% of your week. If you cannot stay strict and stay on track with flexible nutrition within that 40% of your week mark, then you're making it very challenging for yourself to get results over the period of a week or a month. So once it comes to calories, again, everybody is going to have a personal allowance. Again, depending on your starting point, depending on your goal and activity level. So typically I like to set my calories for my athletes and for my clients in around BMR, which for females is somewhere in around that body weight in kilograms multiplied by 22. This is your starting point, but again, everybody's different depending on where they are and their goals as well. Once you've got your calories in place, then we need to focus on protein intake. Once you've hit your protein intake, which will be challenging to start because a lot of us undereat in protein as a macronutrient, so it will be quite challenging, but once you hit your calories and your protein, you can have whatever flexibility you need in terms of if you like more carbohydrates or if you like more fats. You can fit those into your calories whatever way suits you and your social life to still get results. So all that matters is your 24-hour calorie intake done across the period of a week. And you can still have a social life as long as your weekly calories are in place. And that's the most important and flexible approach to nutrition that I believe. So if you're starving yourself, if you have no awareness as to how much food you're consuming, then maybe it's time to start to pay attention, because abs are made in the kitchen after all. So you can train your ass off as much as you want, go into circuit classes, go into spin classes, expend and sweat, but your body shape will not change if your diet is not on point the majority of the time. Now, once it comes to a calorie deficit, I want to encourage you to try to diet on as high a calories as possible for sustainability reasons, for flexibility reasons, and so that you're not a bore, that you're not an awful person to be around whenever you're dieting. So typically a calorie deficit for me is anywhere in around that 10 to 15% off your BMR, and this gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of playroom to still have a social life and not be a moody. Now let's talk cardio. So if you're doing cardio simply to lose body fat, you're cutting yourself short and you're not doing things the right way. In order to change your body shape and to drop body fat, again, resistance training should be number one. If you simply enjoy cardio, or you perform long distance sports, or you compete, or you've got a goal of like a half marathon or 5-10Ks, that's fine. If you simply do it for enjoyment once per week, twice per week, that's cool. Continue on with that. But if you're doing it to drop body fat, there are quicker, easier ways to change your body shape instead of doing cardio. So again, if you check out anybody you follow on Instagram that has that dream body that you want, they are not getting that body through going to gluten abs or spin class or body camps, okay? That is not how those people that you are idolizing get in shape. They get in shape through resistance training and through being more mindful of their nutrition. So if this is your goal to change your body shape and get your dream body, then move yourself away from those classes and get yourself into the gym. Get yourself a coach if you need to. Otherwise, follow a program, aim to improve every week, and get your nutrition on point by tracking on a daily and on a weekly basis, and you will accelerate yourself to better results. In terms of tracking progression and seeing your body shape change, I urge you to take photos on every fortnight and potentially take measurements as well through the widest point of your chest, the narrowest point of your waist, and across the widest part of your hips. If you do this every second week, typically week 2 and 4 of your menstrual cycle, you're going to weigh the heaviest and you're going to have more water retention. So it's better to do this or plan this around week 1 and week 3 of your menstrual cycle. Also, once it comes to starting a diet, week 1 and 2 is the best time to start a diet. If you enter a diet phase through the luteal phase, i.e. the second half of your menstrual cycle, cravings are highest and you will crash and burn with a lower calorie, lower carbohydrate based diet approach. So I urge you to take a lot of time and attention into who you coach with, who you get your advice from, and what works best for you. There is a lot of information out there, there's a lot of coaches out there, but I want you to apply the best information, find out what works for you, and be patient. This is a process where you want to focus on your body for 365 days of the year, not just a quick fix pre-Christmas, pre-summer, whatever it may be. Take a long-term approach to your body, but set yourself up for mini wins through weekly progressions in your lifts, every second week, seeing your measurements drop, seeing your weight drop potentially, and also eating better on a weekly basis without any restrictions, without any fad diets. And I hope that you can change your body shape immensely, done a lot easier, and get far better results than you ever have done before through this simple video.